Welcome back, PatrickTheAttorney.com, Patrick Silva. And here's a legal question. Can the prosecution use the fact that you had hollow points in your gun to satisfy an attempted murder charge? Stick around and find out. In the state of Florida, Mr. Culp was charged with 3 counts of attempted second-degree murder. Here's the problem for Mr. Culp is that on second degree, there's an exposure of 15 years or more. So it could be 15 times 3 or 15 plus a third, which could be 25. When it comes to second-degree attempted murder, there's a mens rea, mental intent. You have to have, quote, in Florida, a depraved heart. How is this prosecution going to satisfy a depraved heart or mental intent? Either someone's going to say, I'm going to try and kill somebody, or if it's self-defense, they're going to try it and show by circumstantial evidence. On this case, Mr. Culp was going to his ex-fiance's house. They had a 14-year-old daughter together, and he was going there and he knew that there was another man living there who was, quote, a meth addict. So he shows up and there's a scuffle. Now, either the scuffle, according to Mr. Culp, was that this guy and his buddy pulled a knife and they were going to try and cut him, or according to these guys, this guy was a lunatic and he was coming after him. But anyway, what happened was Mr. Culp shot 2 rounds into the ceiling and accidentally shot a 3rd round. According to the case, we don't know where that 3rd round went. But what the prosecution was trying to do is they were trying to show the fact that he had hollow point bullets to satisfy an intent element, because on attempted murder, you have to intend to kill somebody. You can't just accidentally try to kill somebody. So they're trying to use the mens rea, the hollow points, and what they did, and this is where the courts had a problem, is that these guys, when they were testifying, quote, the alleged victims, the meth addict victims, they said that, oh, the hollow points are meant for killing, putting somebody down. However, Mr. Culp, he testified, no, a hollow point is actually a safer round, because if somebody breaks into my house and I have to use my gun defensively, the bullet is going to stop when it goes through the drywall because it expands. If you're using a full metal jacket, it's going to keep going through. And that makes sense. What the initial trial court said was they allowed this testimony in. This case went up to the appeals court, and the appeals court said that, you know what, letting that testimony in from these 2 guys who were not qualified because they're just lay witnesses, that prejudiced Mr. Culp, and they did what's called a harmless error test. And whenever there's a balancing test in the courts, you always get screwed because the courts are going to balance against you. But in this case, the courts actually balanced in favor of Mr. Culp and said, letting that evidence in wasn't great. You're going to let the jurors hear that, and that's a very substantial factor on why they found Mr. Culp guilty. So they reversed the lower court's decision. I don't know if he got a new trial, but normally when there's an overturn like that, there might be a new trial, or it just restarts the negotiating process. Now, on to the story in court. Today was a weird day. I had 4 cops I subpoenaed to the hearing, and I needed to get the one cop who made the arrest, and I tied him down to the stories of what was happening, and I got him to admit. There's a lot of admissions. What I did was I had to subpoena the 3 cops who showed up, because what I don't want, this is a case going to trial. I don't want these 3 cops coming in and saying, oh, I remember this, I remember that, I remember this. Well, what I did was, by elimination, they came in and I don't really remember this case. That means when we get to trial on this case that I'm going to be able to exclude them from coming in and then having a magic memory and remember all of a sudden and try to come up with some facts that hurt my clients. Again, thanks to Ron Wilson for sending this in. Attorney Patrick Silva, have a nice day. Out.